What do you do when the president lies? Then it's repeated a million times.
The critically acclaimed film about one woman's fight.
I'm Maria Ressa.
Maria Ressa carries the torch of press freedom in a country held in thrall by a populist president.
It's gonna be bloody.
We demanded the government be held accountable.
The charges against Ressa were aimed at intimidating those who challenged Duterte's rule.
This is not the Philippines I knew, and I have done no crime. If you don't use your rights, you will lose them.
Now on Frontline, 1,000 cuts.
Morning. You want to be somewhere within reaching distance? Because I will come to you for propaganda. Yeah. Pia, you're my first strike.
What will you ask?
I'm assuming I'm going to ask you what it was like to get banned from the palace. Rambo, you, of course, numbers. Drug war, what's changed, right? Because it's on two fronts, right? You have the people think that's the main accomplishment. So what did they really accomplish?
Okay, breaking it down.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello and welcome. I'm Maria Ressa. We are at the 2018 State of the Nation address. Use the hashtag SONA2018. The Rappler team is there.
Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Republic of the Philippines.
Let me begin by putting it bluntly. The illegal drugs war will not be sidelined. Instead, it will be as relentless and chilling, if you will, as of the day it began. Your concern is human rights. Mine is human life.
Wow. Wow.
Pasado alas 6 kanina, umalis sa tanggapan ang CEO ng online site na Rappler na si Maria Ressa.
Award-winning Filipino journalist Maria Ressa, the founder of the independent news site Rappler, vocal critic of Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte.
Maria Ressa, a high-profile journalist in the Philippines. She was named Time Magazine Person of the Year in 2018 for her.
Maria Ressa carries the torch of press freedom in a country held in thrall by a populist president.
Rappler, since you are a fake news outlet, then your articles are ripe with innuendos and pregnant with falsity. Tell me where is our lies, and I'll tell you where are yours.
Okay. Fantastic. it's like, let me focus you first on what's happening in the entire information ecosystem. It's dark and light. Let me use that now, right? They're trying to actively form alternative news. And they've succeeded. Trending News Portal was a really good distribution. Mocha is a really good distribution. That's why all of a sudden our society is so polarized, because that's what they're doing. This group just amplifies, pounds, but they never share any of the traditional news sites. And then the traditional news sites are so blind that they don't even see they're getting killed here, right? This is fascinating. It's a snapshot of our information ecosystem today.
I never planned to be in politics. When I supported then Mayor Duterte, it was voluntary. Ang reach ng Mocha Usong Vlog, 50 million people. Malaki yung na-contribute ng Mocha Usong Vlog sa campaign kay Pangulong Duterte.
Pangulong Duterte, makapunta ng Marawi. Sana
I entered the government helping with the information dissemination of different government agencies for social media. For a dancer like me, for an entertainer like me, to be appointed in Malacanang, that's really something big.
Hello mga kababayan, mga ka-DDS. Live na live po tayo dito sa ating opisina, social media office po. Pakita muna natin yung mga ibibigay natin. At nahanap ko lang po sa sasakyan ko at itong ating ipapapremyo ngayon. Pakihawak na lang din. And last but not the least, ito po, ayan, collector's item po ito na coffee table book, Duterte Journey to the Presidency. Sa pagluklok ng isang social media president, sa pagluklok ng isang pangulo ng ordinaryong Pilipino. Ayan.
1,164 shares.
Ilan ang views?
Reached 233,860.
So I take this as a God-given mission to become President Duterte's right-hand man in his fight against drugs, criminality, and corruption.
He's the first chief implementer of the government's war on drugs. After his retirement, he was chosen to clean up the Corrections Bureau, also plagued with illegal drug problem.
Makinig kayo, ha? Hoy, makinig kayo. Umupo kayo. Upo lahat. Upo lahat. Diyos, Kabi, gumagamit ka pa rin, ha? Ha? Tutunaw na yung ngipin mo. Oh, ikaw. Ikaw na, oh. Wala na ka. Ito. Halata mga gumagamit. Oh, grabing ginamitan ng sabon ito. Ito, oh, natutunaw na. Umatras na yung Joe. Oh, ito. Ay, naku. Utang. Wala na, ubos na yung ngipin mo. Sa gagab. Yan ang shabu. Yan ang ikaw, o tanawa mo na. Ubos na yung kuhan mo, gums mo. Sige, go ahead. Tuloy niyo yung sabon niyo dyan. Tuloy ninyo. At tingnan natin hanggang saan tayo aabot dito. Tatanungin ko kayo, may pag-asa pa ba kayo magbago yung gumagamit at nagbibinta ng sebo? Ha? Pero kung ayaw niyo, bahala kayo. Meron kong paraan paano ko kayo pahinto. Trust me, I have my own way of stopping you from doing your illegal acts. Trust me. Ha? Believe you me, I can stop you. Ha? So, Usapang lalaki yan. That's gentleman's agreement, ha? Gentleman's agreement. Bantay kayo pag mayroon pa akong marinig. Dapat wala nang Sputnik na may involve sa droga, ha? Usapang lalaki yan, ha? Hindi usapang bayot yan. Siguruhin ninyo. Sige, maraming salamat.
We're sitting now with Davao Mayor Rudy Duterte. Thank you for joining us.
Salamat sa panahon mo.
Can you please, you are the man of the hour. People wanted to know whether you're running for president, vice president, yes, no. Where are you?
I told you to avoid me. I'm telling the Filipino people, wag ako, it's gonna be bloody.
So no qualms about killing killers.
Yes, of course. I must admit that I have killed. They 3 months early on, I killed about 3 people.
The level of poverty on the ground is phenomenal. They've had other presidents and other governments, and their lives have not gotten better.
Pero ng gobyerno, it is not for the people.
Duterte comes in, he offers not just change, he offers revenge. Whoever did this to you, I will stop it.
Pag hindi mo ako napatay ngayon, 4 months from now, lilitsunin ko talaga.
Rodrigo Duterte and Alan Peter Cayetano campaigned in Cainta, one of the most vote-rich towns in Rizal.
I've covered Duterte for a long time. I covered Duterte when he was still a mayor, who everybody thought was just a wild card.
Mayor, ano yung favorite niyong breakfast?
Usually salted fish and eggs. Sunny side up.
He had a reputation of being an iron-fisted mayor. He had a lot of nicknames, like people were calling him Duterte Harry or the Dirty Harry of Mindanao.
Is it because you're a journalist na ito, you're exempted from assassination? Parang yung premise mo kasi, journalist siya, bakit patayin siya? It's all wrong.
He may have been a politician, but he was an outsider politician, like a small-time politician. So his messaging was being someone cut out from political elite circles in Manila. I'm an outsider, and I'm here to change everything.
Konting sigawan para sa mga girl!
Tunay na pagbabago, Duterte, nararapat na maging presidente. Tunay na pagbabago, Duterte, nararapat na maging presidente. Si Duterte, si Duterte, si Duterte, ang aking presidente. Mahal kong Pilipinas.
I, Rodrigo Roa Duterte,
President Duterte, right after his inauguration, stood on a platform and said, if you're into drugs, sometime in the next few years, you will make a mistake and I will kill you. It took 3 hours. The first body was found a few blocks away from where he spoke.
yeah.
Please, sir.
The longest time.
A year. Actually, that's what I'm going to start off with, and I'll just say that a year ago, this is what we talked then, and you've done everything you said.
In the hindsight, did you really believe that I had a good chance of making it?
All of our surveys showed it. We had I'll show you all of the things. Yeah. We knew by February.
By what standard na nakuha ninyo?
Social media.
Powerful.
By February, we knew. In 2016, Rappler fought 2 levels of impunity. The first was the drug war. The war on drugs became a war on the poor. We had one team that would go out every night. They would come home with at least 8 dead bodies a night. The narrative of the government is that they fought back. These are extrajudicial killings or murder.
Kung mali yung ginagawa namin, you can criticize us, my heavens. Mali, tanggap namin, nagkakamali kami kung meron kami pagkakamali. Basta, sana naman. Alam ko, deep inside your heart, alam mo na nakikinabang ka sa ginagawa namin war on drugs.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Impunity in the drug war was a continuing series. We put faces and names to the people being killed. We demanded the government be held accountable. Anyone on Facebook who questioned the people who were being killed was automatically bashed. We began to gather data. We began to look at the accounts attacking all of media. We stumbled onto something. Disinformation networks. When you see the network that spreads it, you can follow other networks and then you can see its growth. Mid-September, I started writing. First, the weaponization of the internet. The second piece was how Facebook algorithms impact democracy. As soon as we released it, we got pounded. I was getting an average of 90 hate messages per hour. Mocha Uson blog, she attacked Rappler, said, oh, Rappler's CIA. Followed by another blogger, Thinking Pinoy, who seeded the ideas that were foreign controlled.
Rappler is misrepresenting itself in an SEC.
Oo nga, parang ano ito eh, foreign-based to eh. Itong Rappler na ito. Diba? Hindi po talaga sila Filipino-owned company.
It was the second State of the Nation address. It comes out of President Duterte's own mouth.
Rappler tried to pierce the identity, and you will end up American ownerships. You are supposed to be 100% Filipino.
Of course, we were covering it live. I automatically tweeted, Mr. President, you're wrong. I was told later on that offended him. What do you do when the president lies? Then it's repeated 1 million times. So people have no idea what the truth is. This set the stage. A week after the president did that, we got our first subpoena. January 2018, the government tried to close Rappler, tried to revoke our license to operate. In a little more than a year, we faced 11 cases.
Okay, sir. Sir, earlier in your speech, you said that the issue on the SEC ruling against Rappler is not an issue of press freedom. But at the same time, during your speech, you were giving comments about the media and about Rappler and Inquirer na sumusobra na kami. So what does that mean, sir? You say that this is not an attack on media, but you also have attacks on media in your own speech.
Let me give you an example. Huwag na tayo lumayo. Your inquisitive mind goes beyond its normal proportions. Boom, ayun o. Tignan ninyo, one of these days I'll file a plunder case. Pag pinayag ko plunder case, you will go to jail without a bail.
Because the end goal is to actually make you doubt the facts.
Hindi ako tagapaghatid ng balita. Yung mga pagkakamali ko sa Facebook, honest mistake yun.
Good morning. We're joined today by former Philippine National Police Chief Ronald Bato de la Rosa, who's now, of course, the Bureau of Corrections Chief also. Now, as soon as you file your COC, will be deemed resigned. Yes, the Bureau. Now, what made you decide to actually run for Senator?
Ito ko lang gustuhan ko. At the same time, yung instruction ng President Duterte, huwag ka na mag-gobyerno, sila doon natakbuhan mo.
But other people also see it as the way of the President to put loyal lieutenants in the Senate. That's why supposedly he wants you there, and also Bongo, yung talagang loyal to the president to protect his interests, not just his agenda of governance.
Yes, ito yan. Makipagpatayan ako pagdating kay Presidente. Anybody would like to bring down the President? Nandyan ako sa harapan ninyo. Makipagpatayan ako pagdating kay Presidente.
Wala po akong makinarya. Sinabi ko po dati pa, nasa social media, ako umaasa sa mga naniniwala po, kaya naka-live streaming din po ako. Hello mga ka-DDS, andito na tayo.
Wait, ano yung pangalan mo? Your boss is already talking to us. No need for that.
A prominent critic of Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte has been arrested. Maria Ressa is CEO.
For cyber libel case was served past 5 p.m. inside Rappler's office in Pasig City.
Press freedom advocates say the government's charges against her are retaliation for her critical reporting of authorities in the Philippines.
Manila RTC Branch 46 ng warrant of arrest para sa paglabag daw sa anti-cybercrime law.
We'll go to the NBI. We'll go to the NBI. Can you guys come?
No further comment. Teka lang po, teka lang. Just need to finish the... Teka lang. Excuse us.
You're running the clock. What did they think they could do by keeping me overnight? Guys, can you go to the NBI team and ask them why are they not talking to us? We have until 9 o'clock to be able to post bail. Without the right documents, we cannot post bail. So the stumbling blocks to prevent it's a night in prison, it's a night here. Parang the delay is on purpose.
Free Maria Ressa! Defend press freedom! 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 Free Maria Ressa!
My stay last night at the NBI really made me think about what this is all about, right? And for me, it's about two things: abuse of power and weaponization of the law. This isn't just about me, and it's not just about Rappler. I'll be very transparent because I have done nothing. Sorry. This case, the cyber libel case, the National Bureau of Investigation's own lawyers threw it out. But they reversed their position, and the Department of Justice and the government prosecutors now are taking this. The story, which supposedly violated the cyber libel laws, published 7 years ago, 4 months before the actual law we supposedly violated had even been enacted. They're applying a law retroactively, right?
International journalist organizations are saying this is an attack on the media.
Blaming the administration for it.
Versus Maria Jose.
Your policy on critical media.
Yun na. Total kayo critical, bahala kayo dyan.
Thank you.
Kung matuluyan kayo.
Thank you.
Thank you. It means nothing to me.
Thank you. on drugs started, a lot of people were dying. The government wasn't quick enough to show how many people were dying, how many people were gunned down in police operations, how many people were gunned down by vigilante-style killers. So there's discounting by the government. 4,500 gunned down within police operations. And human rights advocates estimate the killings to be around 20,000, including the killings which were at least inspired by the war on drugs of President Duterte.
Tonight we are following a team of policemen conducting a simultaneous anti-crime and law enforcement operations to seize people who are violating city ordinances following the order of President Rodrigo Duterte to go after tambays. We will see how they execute the order of the president.
Oh, wala talagang tao public space to
Pwede kayo may-interview mabilis lang, sir. Baba lang ako. Quickie.
Drug cleared na ba kayo? Drug cleared na dito?
Hindi pa. Magano pa lang kami. Umikot na. Ay, nag-ikot ka lang kung papel lang.
I mean, drug cleared na yung barangay. Declared as drug cleared na.
Alam naman nila.
Okay.
Malinis na rito.
Congratulations, sir.
Talaga sinisipat nila. Tsaka sa tulong ni Sir. Talagang milinis. Sir Vic. Kung wala siya, hindi rin kami gano'ng makakilos na gano'n.
Ang ganda na may CCTV. Kayo nagpakapit, sir?
Hindi pa rin niya.
Marangga. Tama.
Ocho Derecho candidate, the sole woman in our lineup of 9 candidates. Samira Gutok coming in. Ocho Derecho candidate.
Ang importante po is a woman who stands without fear, without threat to her life, that she is willing to run alongside giants and along honorable men.
Morning. 36 po, kababayan. I-9. Kamata po, Senador po. I-9, kumusta ka? Ang ganda ng umaga. Ang ganda ng umaga. 36 ang plot na.
It's a trial for our country. It's a trial for our democracy. There needs to be genuine opposition. The excuse that people say is like, we're tired, we want results. We want people who really fight drugs. We want people to look at safe streets. I understand that, of course, everyone wants that. But you cannot kill the young. You cannot kill youth. You cannot kill a man for the sake of, like cleaning up the streets. You cannot be judged and executioner at one time.
I-share sa inyo. Ito yung aking advokasya sa laban ko sa illegal na droga. Sana suportahan ninyo yung ating gira, ha? Gira natin laban sa illegal na droga. Yun lang po. Gusto nyo kakanta ko? I do without your smart mouth, throwing me in and you kicking me out. Got my head spinning, no kidding, I can't pin you down. What's going on in that beautiful mind? I'm on your magical mystery ride. Yung aking personal na advokasya, yung aking laban sa illegal na droga, sana po'y suportahan ninyo. Wala na ang susunod pa na presidente na kasing tapang ng presidente natin ngayon. So kawawa ang mga kabataan natin. Yung kailang kinabukasan, kawawa.
We were in a place called Cessna. It was a murder. So one body on the ground, sprawled. His eyes were open, he was dead. And we were shooting. Everyone was shooting, and the brothers showed up, and they were screaming. Because he was dead. And we were all crowded, and I remember someone from Playboy magazine asking someone to translate. So I said, you. I didn't mean you to the guy, but the brothers really were saying you. And I remember that. I don't know why I remember that. But 2 seconds after that, I could hear a wailing from the other side of the alley. And I'm not sure they were words. The mother had discovered her son was dead. And in the narrowest alley that I had ever seen, there was a woman who was crawling along the wall of the shanties, hanging onto grills, trying to pull herself to her son because her legs wouldn't work. She was trembling and she was screaming. And on top of all the screaming, there were journalists who were also screaming. Is your son an addict? How do you feel? What's his name? What's your name? All of that. It was one of my first days. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I was supposed to step in, if I was supposed to... I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So I just recorded. And then the mother, who was still screaming, heard the questions, and being Filipino, answered them. At a wail. No, my son is good. No, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. I can't forget the scream. The story was called Execution at Cessna.
Di ba presidente na si Pangulong Duterte? Hindi ba dapat we submit to his authority? We respect the government. We respect the president. Sabi nga ni Ma'am Maria Ressa, parang sinasabi na karamihan ng mga naandito po sa Mocha Uson Vlog ay mga bayarang troll, fake account, o yung tinatawag na bots. Tayo ay inaakusahan na ng pagpapalaganap ng, natawa ako dito pro-Duterte propaganda. Wow! Propaganda na pala ngayon ang maging makabayan. Troll na pala ang pagiging patriotic.
Hi guys, so we're now here at Rappler office, ayan po, to prove to Ms. Ressa that, we are not trolls, that we are here to express our outrage
and fight for our country.
Yes.
They are destroying our country and we're not going to sit here and let them do it.
So dito po kami, and this is what we're going to say to Ms. Ressa and to the people at Rappler.
Tell your boss, she has no business destroying our country. She's American.
Ayan po
You take your orders from an American, how can you live with yourselves?
Hi, Ms. Ressa. Sana po mabasa niyo yung message natin. Ayan po. Ayan po, kinukunan po tayo ng video.
This one, no. This is why. Because that account posted and then it was amplified by, what's his name? By Mocha. Everything can be turned upside down. I just let Facebook know. just this morning, they said come to Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. Yeah, for a physical protest at our office. The worst thing, of course, is the government amplified their call. Well, we don't even know whether we can trust the police to protect us. Our security will now be ramped up 1 to 6 times. I also am going to deal with that. And I want you guys to be very aware of your surroundings. We've always been like that anyway. And please report immediately if there is anything that you see that is strange, right? They wanted to come to prove they weren't trolls, but then their very action is actually proving they're trolls. And then that is what incited all the comments. So that's the liability that we think they have. Because those threats would never have happened if they never did the Facebook Live outside our office.
Taking the devil's advocate position,
Please.
though, they will argue that they're just exercising the right to free speech and they don't have any hold over their BBS supporters.
But they have hold over their timeline. They could have deleted it. They could have told their people, hey, that's not good. You shouldn't say things like that. Or, hey, that's illegal. The fact that they didn't, and in fact even encouraged it, Facebook took it down because this is inciting to hate and inciting to violence. That's the policy they violated.
We'd like to continue with our live
Yes.
Facebook.
You know who's this for, right?
Who is it for?
Maria.
Mike, all right.
Losers.
This is my recharge. Are you a troll? Are you a troll?
No, I'm not a troll. You look like a tree troll, though. Bitch.
Yeah, tell her. We're at the Devil's Lair, people. Okay, we will continue later.
And then, is any of it being shared? Where's Mocha?
Mocha wasn't there.
Okay.
But she amplified lang the call to
go here.
Yeah.
But the timing of it, why now?
Oo nga naman.
Election.
No, kung hahatian mo ng konti si pero si Mocha, lampas 1 milyon na rin, di ba? 5 million, kita mo. So, kaya-kaya. Oo, basta ma-convert lang lahat, di ba? Kaya ba? Ayan, oo.
When I dropped out from med school, my parents were really hurt. Kasi sabi nila, hindi daw profession ng entertainer. So ilang taon din yung tampo ng father ko sa akin. Tapos, one night, he called me on the phone. Usap kami. Tapos nung patulog na ako, nag-text pa siya. Sabi niya, I love you, anak, no matter what. So, nagulat ako, may closure na. Finally, he has accepted the path that I chose. So I went to bed very happy. The next day, we got a call. He's dead. Shot 6 times. He was assassinated. 2 riding in tandem. Because he was a judge and he was handling a mayoral electoral protest. So it was political. Kaya tama yung sinabi ni Pangulong Duterte. There are criminals pretending to be politicians. So yun yung pumatay sa tatay ko.
Violence, and you say this, violence
Violence
is
is not
okay.
strength.
Is
This
it necessary
violent.
to lead?
There is a need because there's a war. And with that kind of problem in my hands now, I tell you, Maria, until I see the last post is out of the state, until the last drug lord is killed, this campaign will continue to the very last day of my term.
Is it important that people be afraid of you? Fear.
Yes.
But Mr. President, as president, you now also defend the Constitution.
Yes.
And so again, this is a contradiction from our last
yeah.
interview. You break the law, you threatened to break the law, you said you had killed it a year ago, right? You told me that. And yet you now have the task of keeping the rule of law. And you said you would do that also. How do you?
Because the rule of law, there must be fear.
Thank you for having me.
We are so honored.
It's about time.
No.
Honored you.
I mean, and thank you for the statement. I saw you got trolled.
Right away.
You got trolled there.
And we had a bomb threat yesterday, so that's a good sign.
At a time when our basic rights are constantly being threatened, human lives are being disregarded, and our freedoms are under attack, Maria Resa's resilience has become revolutionary. In our moments of doubt, allow us to draw strength and courage from you.
Gosh, my arrest doesn't hurt me because it only makes me more resolute, because I see firsthand how the law is bent to the point that it is broken. What we're seeing is death by 1,000 cuts of our democracy. And it is done, then think about the bleeding, right? Little cuts to the body politic, to the body of Philippine democracy. And when you have enough of these cuts, you are so weakened that you will die. We at Rappler, I've said this, it's been a year now since I've said this. We will not duck, we will not hide, we will hold the line. Join us.
Na ako'y ginaaway, na ako'y pinaglaban sa akong pagdagan. Dili kini pagkaon, dili kini medisina, dili kini infrastruktura, kundi kinabuhi sa libong-libong kabatan-unang Pilipino na nangadaot ang kaugmaon tungod sa illegal nga droga. Ang di mo pakpak, adik.
Ako tinuod na ako'y baret isuklo. Tungod sa inom. Namingon ka ako sa giton, ipahuam ni mo yung asawa na ko. Siya na lang ipasultiya. Unsa nga, layo raman ang akong dito sa di pareho anak niya to. Karon duha ka okay man ka na kaya na nakong paliton tanang pagkaon. Ang problema wa ko maanad. Sumangita gyud nagbuwad. Makasimhot ganay na marapog nakasimhot og pareho ra ba?
kabataan na napatay ng walang saysay. Tinokhang ang kabataan, hindi naman tinokhang ang kalaswaan. Ang kalaswaan nanggagaling mismo sa bunganga ng mga kalalakihan at mismo otoridad, kabastusan. Tinokha mo ang kabataan, hindi mo naman tinigil ang kalaswaan. Anong klaseng gobyerno yan?
The trolls, they hate me because I attacked the president. It's the president, he's talking about his penis. I mean, isn't that something to be, like, mindful about? It's like, appalling. It's appalling to have this kind of language. So we cannot have this 6-year presidency or administration hijack all the values that we fought for, that we cherish. We cannot.
What do you know about the Bongos who intervened?
Sir, as far as we're concerned, we've already addressed the issue of fairness on that article. Can you just answer, please, the question?
Hindi kita maintindihan. Kasi kayo, tingnan ninyo yung mga article ninyo. Maligaya kayo yung gawain nyo sa kapwa-tao ninyo yan araw-araw. Just because you have the power of, press freedom. You are a Filipino who has allowed to abuse our country. And you are an active participant of that. Ayan ang mahirap. In the name of the Holy Grail of press freedom. Yung amo mo, anong kaso niya? Oh, gago kayo. Yung inyong mga reporter, they will be allowed to criticize us. But you go to jail for your crime.
So, ano po yung instruction sa inyo? Sige.
Bawal muna po kayo na.
Ako lang?
Yes, ma'am.
Pia Renada lang ng Rappler?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
ID ko?
Yes, ma'am.
Duterte banned me from Malacanang because he was annoyed by our reporting. It hurts. That's really been demoralizing. I mean, I'm a reporter. I want access.
So why should you care about what happens in the Philippines, right? For one, we spend the most time on the internet, more than 10 hours a day. We spend the most time on social media globally. And as we found out, lies laced with anger and hate spread fastest. When you only look at content, it's a whack-a-mole game. I want to figure out what the lie is, then look at the network that spreads the lies. That's the nervous system. We started looking at one account that was attacking all journalists are corrupt. One account that had 25 followers. They were all following each other. We fact-checked every single item. These were all fake accounts. We began to count and found that 26 fake accounts can influence up to 3 million other accounts. 3 million. I think the first attacks, this word prostitutes, you can even track this word. Mocha Uson starts to popularize prostitutes, Thinking Pinoy picks it up. Then it's repeated 1 million times to make you distrust institutions, to shift the way you think. In May 2017, we did a story on the transcript of Trump's call with President Duterte. Rappler just made the Philippines a legitimate target of North Korean nuclear missiles. It's laughable, but people believe it. It jumped to, I can smell an arrest and possible closure of Rappler.com. Then from there, we go to sexualized attacks, fuel misogyny. Women are a favorite, easy target. Hashtag arrest Maria Ressa. It didn't trend. And that's probably why it took them another 2 years to actually arrest me. That was the end goal.
Court is now in session. The Philippines versus Reynaldo Santos Jr. Maria Ang Interest and Rappler in court.
kami dadaanan, boss.
Go that way?
Padaan, boss, padaan. Wala kami madadaanan. Malapit sana, malapit ang daan, boss, maluwag.
I know many of you received press releases that this is a private citizen. Please understand that it is the Department of Justice that is actually going against us. This is the Philippine government. It's the Philippine government that is filing this. The Department of Justice prosecutors are there. This is your tax pesos at work. Thank you.
She is running for AA Kasosyo, ang boses ng ordinaryong Pilipino. Are you ready? Let's all welcome Mocha Uson.
Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Good afternoon po, babati lang po ako sa mga nagugapuhan at nagagandahang po mga kapitan po natin. Good afternoon, ma'am, sir.
Mukhang inaantok na po ata tayo. Dito po muna ako sa bandang kanan. Pwede ko ba kayo marinig? Hep, hep! Hep, hep! Ayan, dito naman po sa gitna. Pwede ba kayo rin po? Hep, hep! Hep, hep! Ayun o, parang nakikilala ko si Kapitan. Lagi nanonood ng Mocha Girls ito ah. Marami po bang sumusuporta kay Pangulong Duterte? Ay ba, pwede bang 3 beses sisigaw po nating Duterte? Duterte! I really messed up because I didn't have a message. I have my message, but I wasn't able to focus on the message. I was just there to entertain. So I've learned my lesson.
Okay, you guys keep eating. I'm taking you out, Dad. I think we should just try to find a weekend and do a beach.
Miss the beach.
Hold on, let me look at my calendar. There's a Human Rights Awards thing, and then
just another
FCC,
award.
and then I go to New York, and then I'm in New York until the 24th, and I come home on the 25th, Saturday night though, at like 11 at night. We could do, oh no, I can't, because after Saturday night, then I have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in Manila. Then I leave at like 11:30 at night on Thursday for Glasgow.
This is impossible.
Unless we do Sunday, Monday. We could do Sunday, Monday. Sunday the 26th to 27th. Then I'm in Geneva on the 3rd.
Am I happy to be leaving? It's just a non-stop marathon.
I'm upset one court put a 500,000 peso bond on top. Now I'm almost up at 3 million pesos that the government has asked for me to be free, right? Because if I didn't do that, I lose my constitutional right to travel.
Welcome to Cebu, welcome to our hearts. Our streets and to our history.
Mayor Inday Sara Duterte!
Ang ng pagbabago ang partido sa atong sunod na presidente, Mayor Sara Duterte.
Mayor, dun sa PCIJ report, tumaas po yung wealth nyo by 6 times from 2007 to 2017 and they're asking for an explanation.
Wala kasi akong obligation na mag-explain sa PCIJ about sa income ng namin mag-asawa. Hindi kasi matatapos yan kung sagutin ko yung PCIJ, then sasagot na naman ako sa iba na
Para ibaba ang presyo, hindi kayo nahirapan. Bawal Pilipino. Tumatakbo senador po. Ibaba ang presyo. Tumatakbo senador po. scholar, dapat hindi nahirapan ang about Pilipino. Right po, si Putok po. 26 po, Putok.
Maria Ressa, Executive Editor and CEO of Rappler, with Matt Thompson, the Editor-in-Chief of the Center for Investigative Reporting.
Good morning. I can tell you that countless editors across the country are asking the question, what would Maria Ressa do?
That's scary.
You've gotten to see a democracy slide into an increasing authoritarian present. What lessons do you have from that experience, from witnessing that we should be really attentive to sitting here in Washington, D.C.?
I think first is what happens in America happens to the rest of the world. I mean, in order to solve this, you have to act. And I'll tell you two reasons, right? Just earlier this month, I spent time with the Cambridge Analytica whistleblower, Christopher Wiley. The whistleblower said they tested the tactics of how to manipulate you in our countries and in other countries in the global south. And the reason why he said that was because we don't have strong governments. They can get away with impunity. And then if it worked in our countries, then they would, his word was, port it over to you. So the first step is, I think we have to realize that something horrific has already happened, and that we are at this existential moment where if nothing significant is done, journalism is only the first part. Journalism and democracy as we know it is dead.
We're in your dystopian future. I think the last part I forgot to say is that data is plutonium, right? We go back to nuclear war. That's the only thing. This was where we went to elementary school, Suburban and Walnut Street. I never really knew where home was. My parents were both Filipinos. My real father died when I was a year old. My mom went to States, so I guess like an overseas Filipino worker.
Want to stay a little
My stepfather, my dad, now, they came back and got us. My family left when I was 10. My primary language is Tagalog. So when I landed in New Jersey, I had to learn how to speak English. You try to leave behind being brown. You try to understand what you're walking into. And the best way I could deal with that was you work really, really hard, 150%. It's proving that I belong. You have to prove you deserve it.
What can you say?
Where are we going?
Police station. We'll go. Well, I think we'll go and post bail. Right. Well, I would like to post bail because I've been served a warrant.
A prominent Philippines journalist, Maria Ressa, has been arrested on fraud charges. Last month, Ms. Ressa, the executive editor of a news website, Rappler, was arrested over an alleged internet libel case.
State prosecutors filed the latest charges against her while Ressa was on a trip in the U.S. Media watchdogs say the charges against Ressa were aimed at intimidating those who challenged Duterte's rule and his war on drugs.
Undergoing booking. And after this,
so there are two charges. One for anti-dummy, one for securities and regulation code. So itong warrant is for the anti-dummy, issued yesterday.
7th time I've posted bail. The 2nd time I've been arrested. It's obviously clear I am not a travel risk, right? Because I came home even after the new charges were laid out and the arrest warrant was issued. This is not the Philippines I knew. This is not the Philippines I voluntarily chose as my home country. And it's shocking that after a 14-hour flight, and I have done no crime. I'm certainly not a flight risk, that I'm greeted by police who will take me in.
Jeff. Going in the back.
Did I say too much?
Oh my God! Oo, grabe.
Joseph, Doms, we have to be extra careful now. The People Power Revolt happened. Not a shot was fired and a government was changed. As a kid just coming out of school and feeling the exuberance of that, I wanted to come back to the Philippines. This country was actively creating what the future was going to look like. We were building institutions. I felt 20 years later, the Philippines was going to be an amazing country. I worked at CNN. I ran the Manila Bureau for almost a decade, and in 1995, I opened the Jakarta Bureau. I was there till 2005. We had covered every single country in Southeast Asia as they transitioned from authoritarian one-man rule to democracy. That was incredible. I decided I would make the Philippines my home.
You would expect a government to use subtle means to stifle dissent. You do not expect a government to outright say, I am banning you, and then start implementing. You're actually standing in the line of fire, as what we call it. We always say that the line of fire is a place of honor. And that's what you're doing right now for your profession, especially under these circumstances. This is not one of those simple cases. If I have a problem already finding lawyers to take it on, then you know how different your case is. Okay. They want you to hide. So this is actually the reverse of what they want. They want na parang to be able to say, no, this is only about Pia, this brat who keeps on pestering the president with hard questions. Di ba? They can't say that now because apparently it's not just about Pia.
We are journalists. Physical presence in a newsworthy event is integral to our work. Asking officials questions face-to-face is integral to our work. Malacanang's ban prevents us from doing our jobs. Press freedom, free speech, due process, and equal protection are guaranteed by the Constitution. We're asking the Supreme Court to affirm these fundamental rights.
Muna, ababi ang taga Manila, kaning Rappler. There is sa Pilipinas, wala ka ng investigative journalism, kanang PCI. Ay magtuwa na. Pera-pera lang na. Ipakita na ko arong pilakaadaw nga noong kwarta. Kaya kung ano, saan may panginabuhian eh. Kani si Rappler, kani si mga warek-warek. Ayaw, na nga, writer lang na sila daw. Ila sweldo lang pag writer. Di na mabuhi. Nagkadawat po nagklinte para matake. ACDC. Bayaran ka, atake. Ayaw magtuo nga limpyo ng mga putang ina ni.
This is just insane. The palace is now coming out with a press release saying that, confirming their oust Duterte coup plot. I mean, how can you even?
Who briefed you about the Matrix? Kasi sabi, hindi nga kausap ko. So the president told you how it... Hindi niya sinabi? Hindi niya sinabi. Sabi niya, may papadala ako sa inyong ganito, Matrix. Sabi ko, ano ba yun? Mr. President, sabi niya, ouster plot against me. Tinanong niyo siya kung how it worked. Hindi na. Basta sabi ko, paano kung tanongin ng media ganito? Tell them na galing sa akin mismo yan. They can ask me. 3 hours papunta dun sa 3 company,
so wala
organization.
Sir, wala pong authority na mag-explain sa amin, halimbawa po from the intelligence community, from cyber division ng NBI, o kung sino pong a mere piece of paper po ay parang gusto nyo paniwalaan na namin.
Ang galing ni Presidente, kaya paniwalaan nyo. Sa Rappler naman, sino ba yung mga nandun? Yun na yun. It was named there. And sa PCIJ, the National Union of People's Lawyer.
They're laying the groundwork for a non-bailable charge. It's like, it's fantasy.
Oh, I'm gonna show you the gown. Maria, come here. I show you. Can you see it? So this is a nice material.
I'm not gonna wear that.
Maria, try it first. It's a gown, my gosh, come on.
No.
Look, oh my God, it's gonna be so beautiful.
Number one,
Let me see
number
what
two,
you're wearing.
it's also long.
It's okay, you can pick it up. Let me see what you,
There's not enough time to have it fixed anyway.
You don't get it fixed, that's the thing. They just flow.
What?
Seriously, let me see what you got. I think you should try it on. You think you should try it on? I think you should try it on.
I'll trip on it.
Maria, when you have it on,
what'll happen? And then
when you have it on and you're walking, you lift it.
and then you trip on it.
And then, no, when you lift it, then you can walk with your loafers up this wherever you're going.
No.
Yes.
No, look.
Maria, why don't you try first? You don't even know. It's so beautiful. You have a great shape for it.
You can wear it.
No, I'm not. This is
And besides,
small.
I'll be cold. I'll be cold because I want
It's
like a
75
jacket.
degrees tomorrow.
It's not 75 degrees.
Yes, it
And
is.
does it shows neck?
Let me see what you're wearing. Then I guess we have to go to Rent the Runway now.
I told you, I brought 2.
I've seen
I know you've seen this, but I haven't worn it since like a long time ago, a decade ago. It works.
Do you even want to see, or do you care?
I don't want.
Because the
heels
shoe makes the outfit.
These shoes are okay.
Check this out.
No. Mary Jane, I can't wear heels.
You can wear heels.
You can
that
wear
would be
heels.
like awesome. Look at it.
No, thanks.
That way when you Maria Ressa.
And then watch plunk.
that's why this is shorter. This is like a flat. No, I don't wear things
Maria,
like
this'll
that.
be so nice
I've
with
never
that.
worn things like that. You know I've never worn things.
Go out of the box.
No thanks.
You're 50s now.
No thanks.
We're no longer safe.
She and I were born in the Philippines, but we made different choices, starting with the place we call home. For Mary Jane, home is here in New York. I chose my home in Manila, the Philippines. For better or worse. It's ironic that even though our choices are different, our two nations now have the same type of leaders. Macho, populist, sexist at best, misogynistic at worst. They both use anger and fear to divide and conquer. They've created a politics of hate. We need to put hope and love, but I'm gonna sound so schmaltzy. It's not with hate, but with hope and love. We hold the line. Is that too much?
No.
Is it corny?
Maria, it has to be yours. It's you. You're corny then.
Yeah, check up your face. Let's go.
What'd you say, check my face?
I said shut up in your face. We stupidly believe goodness wins over evil. May the force be with you.
Are you gonna say that? Are you really gonna say that? Oh my God.
So Maria Ressa. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome journalist and Rappler CEO, Maria Ressa.
What an incredible room full of people. I mean, the energy from the mother of dragons to Nancy Pelosi. I don't know what to do with it. I mean, it's a completely chaotic time where technology has helped make facts disputable, eroded truth, and crippled trust.
At the moment, it's incredibly easy for governments to get away with this kind of behavior. That's why they're using trials, because it gives them a way to silence dissent and yet have a veil of legitimacy. You know, one of the things that I take away from today, having heard people who were behind bars speak out, is, you know, apathy is the enemy, and we need people to be angry and to care. And if you go to trialwatch.org, you will see a get involved button. And that doesn't mean send money, it actually means tell us about trials that you're worried about. It means volunteer to be a monitor. So please help us make this a success.
Yeah, I would also say, just my takeaway from today, we had all these panels and we were with President Nasheed, who spent time in jail for telling the truth, and Mohamed Fahmy, who also spent time in jail for telling the truth, and Jason Rezian, who spent time in jail for telling the truth. Maria is, where is she? She's, oh, there, Maria is going back to the Philippines. She's been arrested twice in the last 5 weeks. The rest of you are out. Maria's about to risk going back, and she's going back because she believes it's shining a light on crime, shining a light in general is the best and most important thing, and she won't be afraid. I'm afraid for her, and all of us here are so proud of your ability to shine a light, and we're all going to do everything we can to make sure it stays loud for you.
Okay. Thank you again.
And reach out anytime.
I'll do it through David. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he should give you my direct email address.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me. How about on here? Can you write it on there? Yes. Thank you. I'll write you and I'll answer the questions you ask.
And look, whichever way is most helpful to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much. Too many things happening. Have you heard about this? This happened this week. So the palace released a matrix of coup plotters, and it includes my organization as well as other independent news groups and me. And now the Philippine National Police say they will investigate the journalists on that list. Do I have more support outside than inside the Philippines? I think we have a lot of support in the Philippines, but I think anyone who stands up has a lot to lose. Our country needs the mission of journalism even more today than at any other time.
It's a big irony on my part to be a religious person and at the same time waging the war on drugs that resulted to deaths of thousands. The anti-government forces, you can never satisfy them. Everything that the government does is wrong for them. So I don't care about them. I care about the ordinary people who have been suffering from this drug menace. So if these ordinary people say, sir, it's okay. Thank you for what you're doing. Our streets now are safer. Our communities are a lot safer. We can just let our children walk going to the school without being molested by the drug personalities, by the drug addicts, by the drug posers.
What I saw out in the streets never really escaped me. It never really left me. I still remember vividly how bodies are left in the streets and how families are traumatized. And the trauma of the family isn't just theirs. It also to some extent gets passed on to me. And I remember how they feel, the feeling of losing someone so brutally. It affected me, and sometimes it also appears in my dreams.
Makalagnatan tayo. Delikado na.
I'm terrified daily because I'm so close to the ground. The concern isn't getting hit from above. It's getting hit from below. It's not that the president will name me, but that a story I did wrong or a person I shouldn't have named would die because of what I did. And half of me is the journalist who wants the story. And the other half is I do not want to be party to anything like this. It sort of leaks into every part of your life, the paranoia. Sorry. See, Maria says a lot she doesn't scare easily. I do.
I can't not go back. I mean, that sounds really... and it's easy to say it, but I actually did think about this. I have to return. And part of it is also, regardless of what happens, then, chronicling what does happen, right? Thank you. Thank you. That's good.
No, none. We're okay. We're good. That's where they picked up before.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Ms. Pia Raniada. It's quite challenging to be a journalist now. We feel like we're criminals for being journalists. Okay, next. But we're fighting it. Our other Rappler reporters and I went to the Supreme Court and we filed a petition asking the Supreme Court to lift the ban. This is our first offensive against the government. Because previously, we've always just been at the receiving end of these legal cases. And I'm just so proud of my company that despite all of our attacks, all of the legal cases against us, they still muster the resources and the willpower to file a case on our behalf. And you don't have a boss like that every day. That it takes a certain kind of boss to stand up against a greater power when they're already themselves on the receiving end of so many attacks. So thank you, Maria, and the rest of Rappler for standing up for us. And we're just praying. Thank you.
Presidente na ako, sinabi ko, do not do drugs because I will kill you. May 3 taon pa ako. Ubusin ko talaga kayo. Tignan ninyo. Oh, no, it's not an easy job. Presidente na yan. You have contend with this son of a bitch and with the bitch in media.
My question is, the victims are the 27,000 victims of LGK, the marginalized Filipinos, the drug runners, and of course the media. But how about the rest of us? Do we feel victims? I myself, I don't feel victim. In fact, my retirement pay went up. In fact, we feel safe. What are you going to do about making us feel also victims? We don't buy drugs.
I'll quote to you one of the most famous Holocaust poems of all time. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. This was a poem by Martin Niemöller, and the Inquirer pushed it down to one sentence for today. First, they came for the journalists. We don't know what happened after that.
I have been appointed as counsel for another award-winning journalist, Maria Ressa. Ms. Ressa was one of 4 journalists named as Time Magazine's Person of the Year for what Time called, quote, great risks in pursuit of greater truth. The government's response has been to arrest her and initiate a series of civil and criminal cases that expose her to a maximum sentence of 63 years in prison.
Colleen was asking if we've had to make adjustments based on what's happening with you and your safety. And are we safe? She actually asked, are you guys safe? And I think that your friends didn't even realize how how dangerous it is for you.
A relative.
A relative. And funny that you say it that way, because I did tell her you dismiss.
I'm not dismissing it. It's just done. We've dealt with it. We know what can happen, and I'm okay with it. And we
Well,
just
even that resignation, you know, that. I mean, like, I know you don't want to worry mom and dad, or the siblings, or.
Because no one else really needs to know, right? And
That
so long,
your life is in
all we
danger?
need to know is just we're doing our work. That's.
Well,
it's not that it's anyone's, right? We're not different from anyone else, except a little bit more. This year, when at the trial watch, Jason Rizayan, who was like in prison for 500 something days, and then Mohammed Fahmy was in Egypt, and he was in prison for maybe 348 days. And so that was like the first time where I really had to figure out, okay, I have it. Am I okay with this? If this happens, can I deal with it? And it took me a little bit, but I can deal with it. And so we keep going. And I forgot this. Bummer. Shucks. Could I forget it?
It's a very real possibility.
Your
Of
actions,
you-
what I do will determine how real it is. I mean, intent is always there. And I think part of what will give us a better defense is if we're not afraid, because the first factor is to make you afraid, and you shouldn't be afraid. And if I'm not afraid, I'll be a much better, I'll actually prepare better for the worst case if I'm not afraid. And the only way to not be afraid is to understand the worst case scenario and embrace it.
I mean, you're prepared to go to jail? Are you prepared to?
No, the point is that
You know,
we'll
I don't
never
want to
get
see
there.
you becoming a martyr in all of this.
This is a stupid conversation. I don't like this.
I think you're talking about reality.
No, but I've already done this. I've dealt with it.
Not with
already.
me.
I know, but you don't need to deal with it, and you shouldn't deal with it.
Well, that's not fair.
No. Why are you crying?
Because I'm scared for you.
Yeah. But you shouldn't. We're okay. We're ready.
Asking General Bato de la Rosa, where are we on the war on drugs? Can you give us your assessment?
Malayo pa tayo sa ating mga pangarap na magkakaroon ng drug-free Philippines. Malayo pa. Pero ikumpara mo sa previous na mga administrasyon, malaki na po ang nangyayari.
The problem on drugs has worsened. Pagkatapos ng maraming patayan, pagkatapos ng teorya ng patayan, ang problema ng droga mas matindi pa ngayon. Your war on drugs has failed.
Okay, alam mo, sinabihan na ako na move forward na tayo. Sir, siguro 30 seconds. Teka. A reminder to the audience, please behave. Please show respect to all the candidates. Thank you very much.
The big problem is, ang tinitira nila ay puro mga maliliit na pusher. Ang tinitira nila puro mahihirap. Nasaan ang mga drug lord? Ito ang tanong ko.
May rebatan muna si General Bato.
If you wage a war on drugs, you cannot be selective in implementation of justice. Pag sinabi mo war on drugs, ratsada yan lahat at tamaan dapat.
Okay. So, ang rebatan...
Wala kami piliin.
Very calmly. Let
Okay,
us...
okay. Eh, paano ako magkakalma? Wawalo sila, ako lang isa.
Sir, kasi...
Nasaan na tayo ngayon kung hindi nag-launch si President Duterte ng war on drugs? Baka lahat ng kabataan natin ngayon, mga sumbi na, naglalakad sa kalsada, sinaulo na. Tayo nagiging...
Time's up, sir. Salamat po.
Nagiging narco-state na tayo.
Okay.
It's not the PNP's job to kill people. It is to protect the people.
There is overstretch of power when journalists are arrested. There is an overstretch of power when local governments are afraid to host the Ocho Derecho in their locations. There is an overstretch of power when we do not question his rape jokes and statements against women. Silence of the public means there is an overstretch of too much power by our executive, the president.
We are in the last few days, and I asked Jodez how she was doing. Do you know what she said? Here, she has to tell you. I said, Jodez, how are you?
I'm enjoying the last days of democracy.
Ano kaya ang sasagot ko doon? Diba? I am enjoying the last days of democracy. All right. We still think there is hope. Do we not? Look, smile naman. Promise. It could be surprising. We have 61.8 million registered voters. They're going to the polls for 12 hours to choose more than 18,000 elected positions. Right up top, 12 members of the Senate, 12 senators are going in.
Number 83. Tanong nyo dito sa nakasumbra yung kung saan banda.
The Senate hopeful, Bato de la Rosa, has actually voted. This is Pia's photo of him voting.
There's also this, I don't know, a fragmented opposition, for instance, because Ocho Derecho, right? So,
Right. In Davao, the Duterte children set to sweep local elections. That doesn't seem like too much of a surprise, right?
Vote buying as well as obstruction of justice. These are questions that we are going to ask the Quezon
And
Police.
he is set to consolidate his power.
That's why the Senate race is so important, because then we'll see if we can actually balance what the president is doing.
The Senate is a last standing independent body in terms of voting for what President Duterte wants. Wait, guys, I have a hearing tomorrow. Arraignment pala. And the headline, opposition bets failed to get in the Magic 12.
Lagot lahat sila. Siya ay kasama nyo. Itaga nyo sa bato. Siya ang magbabantay doon sa Senado.
President Duterte is president. The institution has morphed. The man hasn't changed. The legislature, the executive, the judiciary, the checks and balances, well, they're bending to the man. So there we go. Was a difficult year, right? I never had any doubts that Rappler had my back. And I hope you guys all know, I think our nation has our back. You can't fight monsters by becoming monsters. I'm quoting Bono. And what prevents us from becoming monsters is one word. It starts with L. I love you guys.
And here at the Manila Regional Trial Court, where Branch 46 has just convicted Maria Ressa over cyber libel charges, sentenced up to 6 years imprisonment.
We are meant to be a cautionary tale. We are meant to make you afraid, right? So I appeal again. Don't be afraid, because if you don't use your rights, you will lose them.
Yeah. If I fall, I stand up. Break these walls, I rise up. Even when I lose it all, I always got my eyes up. They praying on my downfall, but I'll never give up. 1,000 cuts won't be enough to keep my fists in these cuffs. And I'm never breaking down when the odds against me. Brown girl, gold crown with the gods within me. Yeah, I was a flower that bloomed in the dark room. Flows like monsoons from the womb. When I write, move runes and resume. I grew to last soon. Prayed too many moons and my wounds would not bloom. Where we from? Death blooms, so we hum with these tunes. And hope it sparks light like a night in mid-June. My heart's consumed by hate here. It's harder when you live fear. How can you see clear when you don't see you in the mirror? I lost too many peers. They seem to disappear, but they're living through these words that I'm putting here. So tell me you'll remember me. I'm here to build a legacy. I got the ground moving under me. 1,000 cuts ain't never stopping me. And I swear I'm never giving up. Who I am or why I'm standing up. And I ain't ever need no ounce of luck to understand myself, cause that's enough. Yeah, that's enough. I can live 1,000 cuts. 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 Then live a life just covering up. And I swear I'm never giving up. Who I am or why I'm standing up. And I ain't ever need no ounce of luck to understand myself, cause that's enough. Yeah, that's enough. I can live 1,000 cuts. 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 Then live a life just covering up. If I fall, I stand up. Break these walls, I rise up. Even when I lose it all, I always got my eyes up. They praying on my downfall, but I'll never give up. 1,000 cuts won't be enough to keep my fists in these cuffs.
For more on this and other Frontline programs, visit our website at pbs.org/frontline. To order 1,000 Cuts on DVD, visit Shop PBS or call 1-800-PLAY-PBS. This program is also available on Amazon Prime Video.